it was bound to happen after a while. There are a number of situations that have occurred in the Ukrainian conflict that have produced some really scary potential World War III moments, and this one to me is one of the most significant. I wouldn't say World War III moments, it's kind of a cringe thing to say that, because we all know that the situation of World War III occurring in this kind of context probably isn't going to happen. We have seen, rockets being accidentally launched in Poland, etc., etc., and you know that I cannot talk of the Ukrainian conflict really in detail because of my social media policy being a reservist in the Canadian Armed Forces, and it's unfortunate, but this situation is something that's not really relevant or connected to the Ukrainian conflict, so I thought it'd be interesting to discuss. If you haven't heard already, scarily enough, a Russian SU-27 last year nearly shot down a British aircraft. Yes, an RAF RC-135 Rivet joint surveillance aircraft, in fact, and these aircraft are highly technologically advanced to be searching for all sorts of communications data, basically absorbing, information through these sound airwaves, whatever you want to call it. Not sound waves, Matt, you're crazy. But this is really, really scary, and the only reason that the missile that was launched from this fighter jet did not hit the target of this particular aircraft was that it malfunctioned. This is terrifying. We have high-tech systems that, you would expect to work every time, and in this instance, it's a really good thing that it did not. Being that I'm obviously British and a part of NATO, I don't want to see, my own people getting shot out of the sky. I don't want to see anyone getting killed in context, but the reality is that this would have been an accident, a mistake. It wouldn't have been something that Russia was intending on doing. There was some severe miscommunication, and this came from the pilot mistakenly believing that a radar operator on the ground had given him permission to fire on the British jet and take it down on September 29th of 2022. Now, the RAF RC-135 was patrolling over the Black Sea, over international airspace. It was not deemed, obviously, in an environment where it should have been engaged, and it was believed that the missile was launched by accident and not a deliberate act of war. But the missile was launched. That's what's absolutely terrifying about this, is a miscommunication allowed for a Russian aircraft to launch a projectile, a warhead, at a NATO plane. Now, the aircraft was being buzzed by the SU-27, which, by the way, I absolutely love the SU-27. It's a beautiful aircraft. And it was being buzzed by a squadron of them, and that's where chaos just kind of kicked off. At the time, British Defence Secretary Ben Wallace acknowledged the incident, telling Parliament that the Russian jets recklessly came within 15 feet of the aircraft, and one released a missile in the vicinity. Quote, that seems very... That seems very ominous. In the vicinity. You don't just launch missiles in the vicinity. Of course, 2 US defense officials commented on the top secret intelligence documents that were leaked online, told the New York Times today that the incident was far more serious than believed. The Pentagon sources claim the Russian pilot completely misinterpreted what a radar operator on the ground was telling him, believing he had either permission or was ordered to shoot down the aircraft. Now, the role of the joint aircraft from NATO, the Rivet, is to really just absorb all those electronic transmissions. Believe it or not, the aircraft can also detect radioactivity. It's known as a, quote, nuke sniffer, which I think is kind of cool, almost like a bloodhound of the radioactivity space. And the Defense Ministry actually said that there was inaccuracies and did not reflect what happened over international airspace that day, referring back to the Defense Secretary Wallace's comment to Parliament. Now, had a Russian missile blown the Rivet joint out of the sky over the Black Sea, the UK and its NATO allies could have been compelled to war. Personally, I don't think they would have. It would have been a very, very strange move. I think there would potentially be enough facts there that there could have been some proof to say there was an accident. Of course, NATO would probably be pretty upset. I don't know if it would compel a full-out engagement with the Russian armed forces. Things do happen, but it's interesting. It's an interesting situation, because according to Article 5 of the founding treaty of NATO, member nations agree that an armed attack against one or more of them shall be considered attack against them all, and if such attack does occur, each NATO member will assist the country that has been attacked with any action it deems necessary. So if the UK wanted to, and I would hope that my UK counterparts and public servants back in Blighty wouldn't make a full-scale rational decision on going to conflict with Russia, wouldn't do so. I think it's it could have been a very nasty accident, but I think there'd be enough information there to potentially say, yeah, this isn't actually a full engagement. Now, the RAF regularly flies sorties over the Black Sea's international waters, including the Baltics, eastern Poland, to gather information, intelligence data. Of course, it's a common thing. Fighter traffic as well is very similar, right? They're always flying to deter or to push people away. That's nothing new. But the details emerged in a cache of leaked, highly classified documents showing British and United States military activities since the invasion of Ukraine. The source of the deeply embarrassing leak remained a mystery yesterday as the US intelligence chiefs launched a criminal investigation to who was responsible. Leaks across the board is kind of crazy right now. It's absolutely insane of actually what's going on with leaked documentation. But this is part of that documentation that's been leaked. Though more limited in scale, the release of the documentation of such a high classification is really alarming, even more so since the WikiLeaks scandal of 2013, where, up to, I think, 800,000 or so documents and videos and audio files were leaked. It's terrifying, though, to know that this could have got really, really bad. Let's kind of thank those who produced that missile that day, the factory workers, whatever. Maybe had that Friday night feeling, I don't know. That missile did not do what they wanted it to do. Thank goodness. It malfunctioned. But what could happen if, they took the guns, right? What if the missile failed and they were like, oh, hadn't got communications in time, we're going to go at it with the guns this time. There's not really much stopping that. I mean, it's a big, heavy-duty aircraft. It's not going to outmaneuver an SU-27 firing guns at it. At that point, there's no way out of it. So I'm glad that the communication was verified and that they confirmed that it wasn't an engagement. But that missile, if it had hit the target, ooh-wee, I'm not sure what would happen. But I hope, you got a little bit of insight to this situation happening. And I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section below. Let me know. Please check out my description box and leave me some comments. Take care. Bye-bye.